Let's welcome David YOW from the Jesus Lizard to the Church of Rock. Welcome, David.
Hey, David.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so
Nice to be here.
You're actually in a hotel in Virginia, right?
No, I'm in Medford, Oregon.
He's right next door stalking us.
Yeah, I'm at Paige Hamilton's birth house.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, no. Did you know that Paige is from Medford?
I did not.
Oh.
But see, now you're educating me.
I figured it at the outskirts of town. It said Medford, home of Paige Hamilton.
You know, I'm actually from the Illinois. About 9 years ago, I transplanted out here, so I guess I'm just behind on my Paige Hamilton trivia.
That's okay.
But you educated me, so that's cool. I can look it up later, too. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of people were really excited about it, you coming on the Church of Rock. So first of all, thanks for making the time.
You're welcome.
And I want to ask, first of all, how is little buddy?
He's terrific. He's really, really handsome. Today we were looking at a picture of him, and my girlfriend described him as the George Clooney of cats.
Little buddy is David's cat, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to ask.
He's tremendous.
Well, cool, because we're animal people too, so I had to ask about your pet first.
Yeah, I think little buddy is a Heinz 57. He's mostly, I think, Norwegian forest cat.
Oh, is he the only cat you own?
No, there's also Penny and Nico. They're domestic short hairs, and they're sisters. They're twins.
Okay. One of your big fans from Los Angeles, Bill Meisner, asked me to ask you if you guys were doing any full tours again. Are you on a full tour now?
No, it's just 3 shows.
Okay, so will there be any more full tours?
Oh, gee whiz, I'm not clairvoyant. I don't know. It's a few years ago I learned to quit saying never. So I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, it just depends.
Yeah.
How about another new album from the Jesus Lizard? Will that happen?
That's less likely.
Less likely, okay.
Well, it's hard. I mean, like, one of us lives in Manhattan, one lives in Evanston, one lives in Nashville, and one lives in Los Angeles. And I know you can send MP3s back and forth and stuff, but that's never the way we wrote in the past. I'm not interested in writing that way.
Yeah.
So it would be difficult. But, you know, it could be possible.
Do you prefer, if you had to choose, I mean, do you prefer to be touring and playing in front of the people, or do you prefer recording in the studio?
Oh, it's way, way, way I'd rather do live than recording. Recording is terrifying. It's like,
it
once
is.
you finish, that's it. That's the way it's going to be for the rest of eternity.
Right.
And live stuff is more fun to do. Interacting with the audience is more fun. And it's ephemeral, you know, you're done and it's gone.
Yeah, I know some people just don't like to be away from home a lot. I mean, you definitely, I always say, you went into the wrong business if you don't like being away from home and you're a touring band, but I just thought I'd ask to see what your preference might be.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine that, but boy, oh boy, we did a lot of touring in the 90s, so.
You've had your share.
Yeah, there would be years that I was gone for, over 7 months of the year.
Eek. Yeah. Somebody was telling me about a band in Austin called it's a cover band called the Jesus Lizard that you have sung with. What's the story with the Jesus Lizard?
There are some sort of guys in Austin who, they're all kind of like punk rockers, and they like the Jesus Lizard, and they just do instrumental interpretations of our music, replacing the vocals with saxophone.
Oh, wow. Will you join them ever again, or does it just depend if it happens?
Probably not. I mean, I did a show with them in Austin, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, but I don't think that'll happen again.
Interesting. For those who don't know the exact history of the Jesus Lizard, how did the band start and what year, just in a nutshell?
Well, the bass player and I, David Sims and I were in a band called Scratch Acid in Austin, and we broke up in '87. And then I think maybe later that year, uh, the guitar player and David and I just started messing around with stuff. And at the time, we had a drum machine, and we wrote like 6 songs or something like that, but never. It was just kind of Dwayne, our guitar player, had some free studio time booked, and so we were just going to use that up and whatever. It was just going to be a project. And then we decided to maybe get a drummer. And I had seen a band from Atlanta called 86. And the drummer for that band, Mac McNeely, completely blew my mind one night when I saw him in Austin. We talked about how if we ever had the chance to, make music together, we should do that. And so I called him up, and we were the other three of us were living in Chicago at the time. And Mac stopped what he was doing in Atlanta and moved to Chicago, and we had our band. So that would have been the end of 1988.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think Wax Trax Records was still happening at the time.
Yes.
I remember when Al from Ministry used to work there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that was before '88, though. So
Pardon me?
I think Al worked there much longer before, much earlier than 1988, though.
Yeah, when he was doing disco.
Yeah, totally. Did you name the band the Jesus Lizard, or was that a band creation?
I came up with it, but it's funny. I suggested it, and everybody said okay. And then a few days later, I was going, it's really stupid. Let's not call it that. And they said, no, we got it. That's the name of the band. Come on, whatever. So it's just at the time there were so many Jesus bands. There's MC 900 Foot Jesus and Jesus Manson and Jesus Plymouth and Jesus. There's so many Jesus. There's so many Jesus.
That's funny. What are your thoughts on the actual Jesus Christ? Are you a spiritual fellow?
No, but by all accounts, if he existed, he was a swell guy.
Yeah. So you're not a religious person in any way?
No.
No religion for you.
No, thanks.
What about Greta Thunberg, that Thunberg girl? What do you think about her, the climate activist? What do you think about her?
I kind of feel sorry for her. I wonder if she foresaw as big of a thing as what she's turned into, because I would think that right at being her age and stuff, that she's kind of living a nightmare right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, I agree with her and I support her and stuff, but I sure don't envy her.
Yeah, I just haven't gotten to ask that many musicians, and I was really curious as to what your answer was. I should have known. You're a cat fanatic, so I figured you'd probably be someone that probably gives a little bit of a damn about nature.
Yeah, yeah, very much. I mean, naturally.
You're controversial for your many, many years of very intense, physically, crazy stage antics. And I know a lot of that stuff isn't really planned out. It just happens in the moment, being a performer myself. But I've seen a lot of your performances and definitely going with the flow. How many broken bones have you had in your life, man, because of your stage shows?
Really not that many. I broke 2 ribs and cracked 2 ribs, and I broke some bones in my hand. But outside of that, it's just been pinched nerves and cuts and lots of blood and concussions and stuff like that.
Okay, just the small stuff.
Yes, like hors d'oeuvres more than a main main dish.
Yeah, the caviar of pain. How about arrested? Have you ever been arrested on stage?
Not while we were on stage. During Lollapalooza of '95, we were in Cincinnati, and I don't know what happened. Somehow my pants came off, and I was sort of protesting the censorship that had happened with the Robert Mapplethorpe exhibit there in Cincinnati at the time. And so anyway, our sort of roadie ran up on stage and she said, "Hey, the cops say that if you drop your pants again, they're going to arrest you." And so I didn't. And then I got off stage, and a couple of policemen came backstage and took me downtown. And then we were playing in Olympia, Washington. And before the show, we were sitting it was a Saturday or Sunday. We were sitting in the parking lot of a bank and had just opened a 12-pack of beer. And this a couple bicycle cops came up and said, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" I said, "Oh, we're having a beer." And he gets on his radio and says, "I need transportation for 3 downtown." And I said, "You're arresting us?" And he said, "Yes, I am." And so I kind of decided that I was going to be a dick to him, and I asked him if he shaved his legs and stuff like that, and that he had really nice calves and stuff.
Oh, God.
But yeah, those were the only 2 arrests that were concerned with the singing group.
So I guess you figured that you were going to get arrested. You might as well at least earn it.
Yeah, and there was when we were at the station doing some paperwork, the cop behind the counter looked like the grandpa from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He looked like he was about 250 years old, and I kept farting the whole time that I was talking to him.
Wow. Do you think, I know that, it's none of us are getting younger. Do you think you'll eventually go, I'm just done. I'm retiring because I physically can't do it, or that you'll get sick of it?
Well, that's what I thought had happened when we broke up in 1999. I didn't expect that we would ever play again. And I've done a few other little musical projects here and there. But these days, what really spins my prop is acting, and that's what I would like to be doing. I'd like it if that was what paid the bills, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I saw that you've done some acting. Is there anything prominent you've done? Not to be naive, but I haven't studied much of your acting filmography.
I don't know about prominent, but I did a movie a couple years ago called "I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore," and it won Best Picture at Sundance, so that was cool.
That's real cool.
And there's another movie going to be in Sundance this year I did called Dinner in America. And I did a was Under the Silver Lake a Netflix movie? No, it was. Yeah, an A24 movie called Under the Silver Lake, starring Andrew Garfield, and that was cool. So I think IMDb says I've done 30 movies or something like that. I'm not sure.
Wow, that's a lot more than I thought you'd done.
There's a cool Netflix one also called Rattlesnake that I have a small but important part in, where I play an Iraqi war veteran who sells guns illegally.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Can I ask what's on your tour rider? Like when you tour, do you have any special food or drink items that you have to have when you're on tour or that you request?
There's nothing very notable. Beer, bourbon, water, a selection of sandwich meats and cheeses and fruits and juices, and there you go.
Cool.
I think Mac, our drummer, I think he gets gummy bears.
Does he? Nice.
That's the most eccentric of all the items.
Yeah, you never know. I thought I'd throw that one in for fun.
Yeah.
Are you an Iggy Pop fan?
Yeah.
Of course, I figured. We all are, I guess. I just had to ask.
I've never seen him live though.
I only saw him later in life. I never got to see him early on, and it seems like he's matured and gotten better with age, though.
I talked to him for about an hour once, though. Spin Magazine was doing this thing where they would have somebody in music interview somebody else in music, and those. So I was in Honolulu and Iggy was in New York, and I talked to him about an hour on the phone, and that was pretty cool.
That is really cool. So was it like a mutual thing, or did he interview you, or vice versa? How'd that happen?
I was interviewing him.
Wow.
And I told him at the beginning that I really wanted it to be really casual and not so much like a a regular rock interview, as if we just met in a bar and didn't know anything about each other, kind of thing.
That's really awesome. Was he a lot of fun to talk to like that?
He was very fun to talk to. I was really disappointed when the article came out. They really chopped the hell out of it. They really
The edit,
over edited it, and they made it sound like a tiny little chat.
Yeah, that's always a bummer when you do any kind of paper press. It seems like you just never know what's going to happen with that edit.
Yeah, it did give me a little bit of a better understanding and a softer spot for journalists.
Interesting. Do you have any particular vocal or physical stage presence, like kind of influences that you definitely take from it all consciously?
You got really muddy for a minute. I couldn't hear what you said.
Do you have any particular vocal or stage presence sort of influences that you take away anything from, consciously?
Not now. I think a long time ago, I was pretty enamored with the Nick Cave when he was doing the birthday party. The Gary Floyd from the Dicks, I was always pretty taken with him. But I think, and I've said this in the past, I think that that's sort of normal for any sort of artistic endeavor to be wearing your influences on your sleeve, but then ideally and hopefully, you grow to do your own thing and not rely so much on other people's way of doing stuff.
For sure.
So I think that I kind of just do my own thing now.
By the way, Gary Floyd has been on the show several times and is a good friend. I love Gary Floyd from the Dicks.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, I love Gary too.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. I really appreciate you taking the time. Sister Tracy, did you have anything to follow up with?
I just had one question that I kind of like to ask the musicians that we talked to. David, I just wondered, I know I heard you say earlier, talking a little bit about your acting experience. If you could go back in time to when you were a little kid, like, I don't know, before the age of 7 or 8, 9, 10, something like that, when your imagination is still running wild, and you could pick something to go into career-wise, or what to do, what did you want to do when you grew up? If it wasn't music, what would have been your second choice?
Well, it wasn't music. I punk rock stole me. I wasn't trying to get into it. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a garbage man.
That's not the first time I've heard that answer.
Yeah, I really did. I wanted to be a garbage man. And also, the way I talked when I was a kid, I wasn't very good with R's. And so my mom said, she used to say that I wanted to be a garbage man. That's more like GAW, and then the rest of garbage.
Hey, man, you'd be surprised at some of the little kids that are like totally fascinated by the garbage man, like sitting in the window and watching them come and watching it crush the garbage and turn it on. They just think it's the coolest thing ever. So hey, I could see wanting to be a garbage man when I were a little kid.
Yeah,
hey,
that's when now I think it's mostly worldwide or at least national, where they have the robotic arm pick up the bin and dump it in there. But when I was a kid, there was the guys in coveralls hanging onto the back of the truck, have to pick up the garbage cans and throw them in there and put them back, and back-breaking filthy work, but that's what I wanted to do.
I think I would have went into something like physics or something science. Like, I'm fascinated by the sky. I think I was left here by mistake or something.
The stork.
Yeah, I think my choice number 2 was astronaut. So,
Yeah, for real.
Garbage man or astronaut.
Hey, man, like they're connected some way. I'll think of how someday, but they're connected somewhere.
Yes.
So, David, do you have anything happening that we should know about coming up here in the future?
Golly, this last year has been so busy doing some acting, and I did a bunch of 45 shows with Flipper. and that's all done now. And
Oh, that's right.
outside of these 3 Jesus Lizard shows, I don't have anything.
So you've been in Flipper for, you just joined the band temporarily. You've done 40 shows. Are you like the singer now, or is that just like a phase thing you did for a little while?
I was just sort of, they needed a singer and they asked me to do it. So
Nice. I love
it. I'm not really an ongoing band member.
Okay, yeah, because I really, really love Flipper so much.
Man, it was fun. Man, I was so honored, and it was so fun.
Nice.
And doing songs like Sacrifice and Love Canal, I felt like I could kill anybody. Tear them to pieces.
And that song, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Well, that's so cool, man. Well, it's been really cool talking to you. We're running out of time, but thanks a million to David YOW from the Jesus Lizard for coming on the Church of Rock tonight and talking with us. It's been very fun.
Yes,
and
thank you, David.
I'm hoping maybe we can get you back on for another chat down the road if you'd be so gracious, man.
Yeah, well, maybe someday. Are you in Medford proper?
We're in Ashland.
Ashland. Okay. Well, maybe someday I can come to the studio so we can dance around while we do it.
That would be just beautiful, and we can get video to prove it.
I'll get blackmail material while you're here. So
What material?
blackmail material.
The blow up sheep. Blow up sheep.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Lassie, come home. Okay, David, it's been cool talking to you, man.
Thank you very much. Until next time.
Yeah, have fun on the rest of the tour, and kudos, my brother.
Thanks, David, and we'll talk to you next year.
All right. Nighty night.
Yeah, take care.